Yeah, so we talked about, first off, we identify what we want to celebrate. And so the key part of that is to have a clearly defined vision and direction. We're going this way. So whether it's at home, whether it's with my position group, as an offense and as a team, watching Coach Carroll model this for years, he sets a clearly defined vision. Our off-season emphasis, guys, is to recapture our work ethic. Okay, that's what he says. He said that every single offseason. And we're always competing to find our best. We want to get faster, stronger, smarter, more flexible. He hits some very specific things that we're looking for our team. And so having that clearly defined vision, there's multiple layers in there. So there's the corporate vision, right? What's our overarching theme? It's to own the NFC West. We don't say win the Super Bowl. We say own the NFC West, because if we win the division, we guarantee ourselves a home game, the first round of the playoffs. And we got some ridiculous playoff record at home. We lost to the Rams this past year, played them for the third time. I mean, who better, you know how it is with those, crosstown rivals. It's hard to beat them over and over and over. They did a heck of a job. But anyhow, so we have a clearly defined vision, own the NFC West. We have clearly defined off-season vision, okay? And then what we end up doing is creating a joint vision with each of our players. And here's where it really locks in. This is where you get the buy-in for culture. And it all starts off by hearing their story, okay? So this is a time where you create a really safe environment for your coach, for your players, your colleague, and you ask them about who they are. How did you get here? Where were you before this? When did you first discover, man, I got a shot to make it all the way? You started to have some early success, maybe in Little League football, and you started to see like, oh, this could become a reality. When did that happen? And you get in connection with a person's history and their story, the ups and the downs of their college career. For us, like I was here and I transferred here, or I was here and I played great for 2 years. I tore my ACL. Man, that rehab process, you start to really get to know what makes this person tick, what motivates them. And so then you build it all the way up to today and say, okay, now what is your vision for, like, where are you today? What's the next step for you? Where do you want to be at the end of this season? Where do you want to be at in 2 years and 5 years? Kind of do that whole thing with them, and it takes several different meetings. But I usually reserve that first one to give them about like 20 to 30 minutes to just tell me how they got here and give me like a timeline. And then I don't do a lot of talking unless they're having a little bit of a difficult time articulating the different things they've experienced. And then I'll try to draw it out of them with questions. But I'll just sit here and literally I write it up on my board right there. And I kind of have just kind of questions to ask, those same ones that I just went over with you. And the reminder is for me to listen, because I can talk a lot. So, but anyhow, once that connection is formed, and then we come back to, okay, how is this going to help us win the NFC West? How are you going to get faster, bigger, faster, stronger, smarter, all those things this off season? We've watched a film, and these are the things to work on from last season, etc. Then we can move into, okay, we're on the same page. We've created a joint vision now together. Okay. I have buy-in from this person. Now here's the style in which we're going to do that. And that's where culture comes in. Okay. So that now you have an agreement with a person. Okay. Your athlete, you have an agreement with them. And now it becomes about language, and we can get into that a little bit later, but the language has to be disciplined when you're setting culture, because now they're looking to you because you're the key to helping them get to where they want to go. And so because you have that now, so now we're both walking together facing the same direction. You're not walking, and you're not standing at a standstill staring at each other. You're actually on a trail, on a path together. And then they're looking to see how you take things in. They're looking to hear your language. And so what coach says is don't use synonyms. We say the same things over and over. Okay, and I just rattle some off. We say the philosophy of football is all about the ball. Always compete. Okay, the central theme of our program is competition. Practice is everything. Rule number 1, protect the team. Rule number 2, no whining, no complaining, no excuses. Rule number 3, be early. All those things hit different stuff that we can get into a little bit more. He talks about grit. He talks about maximizing your, etc. All, like, the language is the same, but we don't use different ways of saying the same thing. So if we can have clearly defined language, they'll start speaking like us. They'll get in front of the cameras for their interviews. They will speak like us. They sound like Seahawks. I'm sounding like a Seahawk right now just on this interview. And hopefully coach would be proud of the way that I'm talking, because he's set the culture. So that's what it makes me think of, Scott, just kind of the wrapping it all the way back around to the language.